I found a box of birth control pills in my widowed mother-in-law's room. I replaced the birth control pills with ordinary stomach medicine. The reason was simple: since my mother-in-law always wanted to hold a grandchild, why not have one herself? I installed a tiny camera in the bedroom. After coming home from work, I often found that the neatly made bed was wrinkled, and the alarm clock or glass on the bedside table had subtly moved. But there were only my husband Ryan and I at home, along with my mother-in-law who had just moved in recently. 2 years ago, after my father-in-law passed away, my mother-in-law had been living alone. Ryan and I had agreed to live by ourselves before marriage, but 2 months into our newlywed life, he used a sob story to bring his mother to live with us. It had been 2 days since I installed the camera. That day, I had just finished a project proposal and sat at my desk to play back the surveillance footage at triple speed. Unexpectedly, I saw Mr. Thompson embracing and kissing my mother-in-law as they entered my bedroom, then the two of them rolling around on my bed. Mr. Thompson lived next door to us and had a seemingly perfect family. Who could have imagined he would be having an affair with my mother-in-law? Watching the entangled figures in the video, I felt a wave of nausea and ran to the bathroom, throwing up my lunch completely. The two of them moved with practiced ease, clearly habitual offenders. I steadied my slightly trembling hand and prepared to tell Ryan everything tonight, then confront his mother about this together. After dinner, I fiddled with the USB drive in my hand, which contained a copy of that video. I was trying to figure out how to bring it up. Ryan came out of the bathroom, having just showered. With only a towel wrapped around him and steam rising from his body, he hugged me, rubbing his stubble against my face. He picked up the USB drive. "What's on this?" I took a deep breath. "Why don't you take a look?" He curiously plugged the USB drive into the computer, but just as he was about to click on it, I stopped him, because I felt a sharp pain in my abdomen, more intense than anything I had ever experienced before. My calves began to tremble slightly. I fell to my knees, curling up and clutching my stomach. He panicked and came to support me, massaging my abdomen. "No, hospital," I managed to say. He quickly threw on some clothes, picked me up, and rushed to the hospital. At the hospital, they drew blood and ran tests. I had already used up all my strength, and my forehead was covered in cold sweat. Before long, I even developed a high fever. The test results showed acute liver damage, cause unknown. I vomited and had diarrhea all night, with a persistent high fever. I even started talking nonsense, calling out for my mom and dad. Ryan took care of me all night, and I felt a bit better the next day. The doctor told us it could be due to improper, unregulated use of medication. Ryan and I looked at each other in confusion. I hadn't taken any medication recently, and my diet had been quite normal. The only difference was a soup that my mother-in-law had voluntarily offered to cook that night, saying it was to nourish my body, made especially for me. Under Ryan's questioning, my mother-in-law finally admitted that the soup was actually a medicinal concoction she had obtained from a so-called master. "What kind of medicine?" Ryan demanded. "A fertility soup," she replied. I was exhausted, both physically and mentally. I had always been frail since childhood, and doctors had advised against pregnancy. Moreover, I personally had decided not to have children, and had thoroughly discussed this with Ryan before marriage. He had firmly told me he supported my decision. To compensate for this in a way, my family had bought our marital home outright for us to live in as a couple. I hadn't said anything when his mother moved in, and she had tried to make me take various strange medicines several times, which I had always refused for various reasons. I had complained to Ryan about this, but he said older people were all like that, and told me not to mind it. Now she had done something like this. If the situation had been more serious, I could have accused her of attempted murder. I stayed in the hospital to recover for quite some time, and this incident was hastily concluded. Ryan sternly warned his mother not to give me any more unknown